Good morning, my friends. Happy Saturday. Saturday is quickly becoming the day where I show up around 10 a.m. I get up and I move slow. I move. I move at the speed of KJ on Saturday morning. Thank you, Faith. Yep, today is Tilson's birthday. He'll be madder and I'll get out for me telling people that. But that's okay. Everybody needs a birthday wish once in a while. I was going to take him shopping to buy himself something, but he don't want to. So I might take myself shopping and buy myself shopping. Something. No, I know. No hoodie on this morning. What's going on? It's because I had to film my weekly check-in. That's why I have to look good. I'll have a hoodie on by 10:30, Nikki. All right. May 4th. Duties of the gatekeepers. 1 Chronicles 26, 1 through 19. These are the divisions of the gatekeepers. From the Korahites, there was the Meshlemiah, son of Kor, of the family of Abiasaph. This is going to be one of those readings I can see right now. The sons of Meshlemiah were Zechariah the oldest, Jediel the second, Zebediah the third, Jathniel the fourth, Elam the fifth, Jehohanan the sixth, and Eliohonai the seventh. The sons of Obed-Edom, also gatekeepers, were Shemaiah the oldest, Jehozabad the second, Joah the third, Saker the fourth, Nethanel the fifth, Amiel the sixth, Issachar the seventh, and Pulathai the eighth. God had richly blessed Obed-Edom. Obed-Edom's sons, Shemaiah, had sons with great ability who earned positions of great authority in the clan. Their names were Othni, Raphael, Obed, Elzabad. Their relatives, Elihu, Semachiah, were also very capable men. All of these descendants of Obed-Edom, including their sons and grandsons, 62 of them in all, were very capable men, well qualified for their work. Meshelemiah's 18 sons and relatives were also very capable men. Hosea of the Merari clan appointed Shimri as the leader of his sons, though he was not the oldest. His sons included Hilkiah the second, Tebaliah the third, and Zechariah the fourth. Hosea's sons and relatives who served as gatekeepers numbered 13 in all. These divisions of the gatekeepers were named for their family leaders and the other Levites. They served at the house of the Lord. They were assigned by families for guard duty at various gates without regard to age or training, for it was all decided by means of sacred law. The responsibilities for the east gate went to Meshelemiah and his group. The north gate was assigned to his son Zechariah, a man of unusual wisdom. The south gate went to Obed-Edom and his son were put in charge of the storehouse. Shephem and Hosea were assigned to the west gate and the gateway leading up to the temple. Guard duties were divided evenly. 6 Levites were assigned each day to the east gate, 4 to the north gate, 4 to the south gate, and 2 pairs at the storehouse. 6 were assigned each day to the west gate, 4 to the gateway leading up to the temple, and 2 to the courtyard. These were the divisions of the gatekeepers of the clans of Korah and Merari. Treasurers and other officials, 1 Chronicles 26, 20 through 32. Other Levites, led by Ahijah, were in charge of the treasuries of the house of God and the treasuries of the gifts dedicated to the Lord. From the family of Libni in the clan of Gershon, Jehiel was the leader. The sons of Jehiel, Zetham, and his brother Joel were in charge of the treasuries of the house of the Lord. These are the leaders that descended from Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel. From the clan of Amram, Shebuel was the descendant of Gershom, son of Moses. He was the chief officer of the treasuries. His relatives through Eleazar were Rehabiah, Jeshaiah, Joram, Zikri, and Shelomoth. Shelomoth and his relatives were in charge of the treasuries containing the gifts that King David, the family leaders, and the generals and captains and the other officers of the army had dedicated to the Lord. These men dedicated some of the plunder they had gained in battle to maintain the house of the Lord. Shelomith and his relatives also cared for the gifts dedicated to the Lord by Samuel the seer, Saul son of Kish, Abner son of Ner, and Joab son of Zeruiah. All the other dedicated gifts were in their care too. From the clan of Izhar came Kenaniah. He and his sons were given administrative responsibilities over Israel as officials and judges. From the clan of Hebron came Hashabiah. He and his relatives, 1,700 capable men, were put in charge of the Israelite lands west of the Jordan River. They were responsible for all matters related to the things of the Lord and the service of the king in that area. Also from the clan of Hebron came Jeriah, who was the leader of the Hebronites, according to the genealogical records. In the 40th year of David's reign, a search was made in the records, and capable men from the clan of Hebron were found at Jazer in the land of Gilead. There were 2,700 capable men among the relatives of Jeriah. King David sent them to the east side of the Jordan River and put them in charge of the tribes of Reuben and Gad and the half-tribe of Manasseh. They were responsible for all matters related to God and to the king. Military commanders and divisions. 1 Chronicles 27, 1 through 15. This is the list of the Israelite generals and captains and their officers who served the king by supervising the army divisions that were on duty each month of the year. Each division served for 1 month and had 24,000 troops. Jashobeam, son of Zabdiel, was commander of the first division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the first month. He was a descendant of Perez and was in charge of all the army officers for the first month. Dodai, a descendant of Ahoa, was commander of the second division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the second month. Mikloth was his chief officer. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, the priest, was commander of the third division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the third month. This was the Benaiah who commanded David's elite military group known as the 30. His son Amizabad was his chief officer. Asahel, the brother of Joab, was commander of the fourth division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the fourth month. Asahel was succeeded by his son Zebediah. Shammah, the Israelite, was commander of the fifth division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the fifth month. Ira, son of Ikash from Tekoa, was commander of the sixth division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the sixth month. Helez, a descendant of Ephraim from Pelon, was commander of the seventh division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the seventh month. Sibbecai, a descendant of Zerah from Husha, was the commander of the eighth division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the eighth month. Abizer from Anathoth in the territory of Benjamin was commander of the ninth division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the ninth month. Maharai, a descendant of Zerah from Netopha, was commander of the 10th division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the 10th month. Benaiah from Pirathon in Ephraim was commander of the 11th division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the 11th month. Heled, a descendant of Othniel from Netopha, was commander of the 12th division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the 12th month. Leaders of the tribes. 1 Chronicles 27, 16 through 24. The following were the tribes of Israel and their leaders. Reuben, the leader was Eleazar, son of Zikri. Shephatiah, son of Makkah, was the leader of Simeon. Hashabiah, son of Kemuel, was the leader of Levi. Zadok the leader was Aaron, the priest. Elihu, a brother of David, was the leader of Judah. Omri, son of Michael, was the leader of Issachar. Ishmael, son of Obadiah, was the leader of Zebulun. Jeremoth, son of Azriel, was the leader of Naphtali. Hoshea, son of Azaziah, was the leader of Ephraim. Joel, son of Pedaiah, was the leader of Manasseh from the west. Iddo, son of Zechariah, was the leader of Manasseh and Gilead from the east. Jaasiel, son of Abner, was the leader of Benjamin, and Azarel, son of Jeroham, was the leader of Dan. These were the leaders of the tribes of Israel. When David took his census, he did not count those who were younger than 20 years of age, because the Lord had promised to make the Israelites as numerous as the stars in heaven. Joab, son of Zeruiah, began the census, but never finished it, because the anger of God fell on Israel. The total number was never recorded in King David's official records. Officials of David's kingdom. 1 Chronicles 27, 25 through 34. Asmabath, son of Adiel, was in charge of the palace treasuries. Jonathan, son of Uzziah, was in charge of the regional treasuries throughout the towns, villages, and fortresses in Israel. Ezri, son of Caleb, was in charge of the field workers who farmed in the king's lands. Shammai from Ramah was in charge of the king's vineyards. Zabdi, son from Shephem, was responsible for the grapes and the supplies of wine. Baal-Hanan from Gedor was in charge of the king's olive groves and sycamore fig trees in the foothills of Judah. Joash was responsible for the supplies of olive oil. Shitrai from Sharon was in charge of the cattle on the Sharon plain. Shaphat, son of Adlai, was responsible for the cattle in the valleys. Obil the Ishmaelite was in charge of the camels. Jediah from Maronoth was in charge of the donkeys. Jaziz the Hagrite was in charge of the king's flocks of sheep and goats. All of these officials were overseers of King David's property. Jonathan, David's uncle, was a wise counselor to the king, a man of great insight and a scribe. Jehiel the Hakmonite was responsible for teaching the king's sons. Ahithophel was the royal advisor. Hushai the Archite was the king's friend. Ahithophel was succeeded by Jehoiada, son of Benaiah, and by Abiathar. Joab was commander of the king's army. David's instructions to Solomon, 1 Chronicles 28, 1 through 21. David summoned all the officials of Israel to Jerusalem, the leaders of the tribes, the commanders of the army divisions, and the other generals and captains, the overseers of the royal property, livestock, the palace officials, the mighty men, and all other brave warriors in the kingdom. David rose to his feet and said, "My brothers and my people, it was my desire to build a temple where the ark of the Lord's covenant, God's footstool, could rest permanently. I made the necessary preparations for building it, but God said to me, 'You must not build a temple to honor my name, for you are a warrior and have shed much blood.' Yet the Lord, the God of Israel, has chosen me from among my father's family to be king over Israel forever, for he has chosen the tribe of Judah to rule, and from among the families of Judah he chose my father's family. And from among my father's sons the Lord was pleased to make me king over all of Israel. And from my sons the Lord has given me many. He chose Solomon to succeed me on the throne of Israel and to rule over the Lord's kingdom. He said to me, 'Your son Solomon will build my temple and its courtyards, for I have chosen him as my son, and I will be his father. And if he continues to obey my commands and regulations as he does now, I will make his kingdom last forever.' So now, with God as our witness, and in the sight of all of Israel, the Lord's assembly, I will give you this charge. Be careful to obey all the commands of the Lord your God, so that you may continue to possess this good land and leave it to your children as a permanent inheritance. And Solomon, my son, learn to know the God of your ancestors intimately. Worship him and serve him with your whole heart and a willing mind. For the Lord sees every heart and knows every plan and thought. If you seek him, you will find him. But if you forsake him, he will reject you forever. So take this seriously. The Lord has chosen you to build a temple as his sanctuary. Be strong and do the work." Then David gave Solomon the plans for the temple and its surroundings, including the entry room, the storerooms, the upstairs room, the inner rooms, and the inner sanctuary, which was the place of atonement. David also gave Solomon all the plans he had in mind for the courtyards of the Lord's temple, the outside rooms, the treasuries, and the rooms for the gifts dedicated to the Lord. The king also gave Solomon the instructions concerning the work of the various divisions of priests and Levites in the temple of the Lord, and he gave specifications for the temple and for the items in the temple that were to be used for worship. David gave instructions regarding how much gold and silver should be used to make the items needed for service. He told Solomon the amount of gold needed for the gold lampstands and the lamps, and the amount of silver for the silver lampstands and lamps, depending on how each would be used. He designated the amount of gold for the table on which the bread of presence would be placed, and the amount of silver for the other tables. David also designated the amount of gold for the solid gold meat hooks used to handle the sacrificial meat, and for the basins, pitchers, and dishes, as well as the amount of silver for every dish. He designated the amount of refined gold for the altar of incense. Finally, he gave him a place for the Lord's chariot, the gold cherubim, whose wings were stretched out over the ark of the Lord's covenant. Every part of this plan, David told Solomon, was given to me in writing from the hand of the Lord. Then David continued, "Be strong and courageous, and do the work. Don't be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord, my God, is with you. He will not fail you or forsake you. He will see to it that all the work related to the temple of the Lord is finished correctly. The various divisions of priests and Levites will serve in the temple of God. Others with skills of every kind will volunteer, and the officials and the entire nation are at your command." The dog is laying on my foot, laying right at my feet. Captions. All right, we're on page 144. My gosh, I think we're going to be done this week. If you haven't purchased the book, Breaking Free from Body Shame by Jess Connolly, you can find it on my Amazon book list, on my bookshelf, on my Amazon links. Just go to my website and click on KJ's link. I think it's called KJ's Links. And you can get the book because we're going to go through it together. And I think it's awesome if an author gives me permission to read their book, that we buy as many of their books as we can. So, all right. Do you know him, Jesus? For every breath I take, for every song that I sing, praises I give to you. Though the storms of life may rage, but you always see me through. Do you know him? What he is, love forevermore. Do you know him? What he is? He's the lily in the valley and the bright and morning star. Do you know him? What he is life forevermore. Do you know him? What he is, wonderful Jesus. Do you know him? What he is, everything that's good, grace and truth that's forevermore. June 12th, 2014. All right. Let me go back and read through the chat. Please pray for the Groff family from my church. Their 16-year-old son was hit and killed by a hit-and-run driver Thursday evening while he was weed whacking at one of our church properties. His dad found him later that evening after he didn't show up for an event. The youth group is struggling. I can imagine, Linnea. That's terrible. Oh, it makes me absolutely sick to my stomach. Oh, I'm glad he's doing good, Meredith. We will pray for him, too, to continue his healing. Thank you, Pam. I'll give Tilson all your birthday wishes. And he'll go, I don't celebrate my birthday. Why'd you tell people it was my birthday? That's my imitation of Tilson. He doesn't sound anything like that, but I like to pretend that's what he sounds like. He doesn't sound anything like that. All right, let's go ahead and pray. God, our Father, we thank you today for this time to come together before you. And thank you for our devotion each morning. Thank you for the promises in your word. Thank you for the record keeping that we read through today, even though it's hard sometimes to read through all the numbers and the leaders and the specifications. And it almost at times seems like it's not, it feels at times pointless to read through all the names, name after name after name, that we don't necessarily absorb. But what I do know is that you have promised that your word does not return void, and that reading your word will bless us and honor you. And so we read and just pray that you will show us your promises through the words that we read. And thank you for me, it's a reminder that you are in the details of my life. Every little detail of my life is written by you. And these words in the Bible today and this devotional today are a reminder of that for me. And I just pray that you will continue to remind us of your promises each day as we dive into your word together. God, I just thank you and praise you for Jax and his outcome from surgery and his recovery. And I just pray for his continued comfort and recovery. God, I pray for Faith today as she hits the day where she might not feel well after chemo. And I just pray that you will be with her today. Give her the least possible amount of side effects from her chemotherapy. I just pray that you will be with her and strengthen her today, and just help us to all support her as she walks through this. God, we pray for the Groff family and this just devastating loss of a child in such a horrible accident. And I can't imagine the pain that family is in today, and the youth group and the whole church and just the community. It's hard to understand this type of situation. And God, I just pray that somehow they will find who did this and bring justice. We pray for his family, for peace and for comfort and for strength as they walk through the next few days and obviously years and the difficulty that that brings. God, I just pray that you'll strengthen them, strengthen his parents and his siblings and his church and just everybody around, and bring peace to all of them. God, I just thank you for your presence in our lives. Thank you for the promises that you bring us each day. And I pray that as we go through our day today, you'll help us to honor you with everything we say and do. In your precious name, amen. All right, my friends. Thank you. His sister's birthday is Friday. His Mother's Day is Sunday. The coroner still hasn't released the body. I can imagine, Linnea. That's just the most devastating. I can imagine it would be just gut-wrenching at any time to lose a child in any way. But such a horrific accident, and the fact that it was a hit and run and they don't know who did it, and there's somebody out there that's probably also in turmoil over this accident. It's horrible. It's horrible. We'll be praying for that family for sure. All right, my friends, I love you. I don't know if I'm going to go live. I don't know. If I do, it will be out of the blue because I don't know what I would make today. What I would really like to make is to prep ahead some lunch bowls because I have been struggling with my timing. Because, well, this past week, if you haven't watched my update on Instagram yet, I did my injection in a different location this last week and it didn't serve me well. And it made me nauseous and have heartburn a lot and a lot of like hiccups. And so I moved my injection site back again and we'll see what happens this week, but it didn't serve me well with weight loss either. And so I struggled this week I didn't struggle to stay on plan, but I struggled to get good protein. I struggled to get good timing in. That's exactly, Susan, what I was thinking about doing is prepping some power bowls because I need to have meals ready in the fridge when I don't feel like when the med makes me feel like not eating, I need to eat. It's important. And I need to have ingredients prepped and ready. So I was thinking about doing some Power Bowl prep. I'd really like to do it on the Traeger, but it's raining. So I may come on and do that. I don't know. I don't have a single veggie in my fridge. Absolutely none. I was going to go to the farmer's market this morning, load up on veggies, but listen, I'm so sweet that if I try to go to the farmer's market in the rain, I might melt. Yes, I did. Last week I injected it in my thigh and it was no bueno, Kelly. I gained weight. I felt sick. I had heartburn and I got a great big fat bruise on my leg. It was no good. I went back to my stomach today. So, yeah, fermented veggies would be the veggies, I guess, for the bowl. Really? No kidding, Kelly. Interesting. Whose idea was that to put it in my thigh? This dog is giving me the stink eye. So maybe I'll go live. We'll see. I heard my husband's alarm going off, so I don't know if he wants to get up and go do something in the rain. I doubt it. But yeah, me neither. Ain't happening. Going back to my belly. All right. If I go live, you'll see me. If I don't, you won't. That's how it goes. My nose is running. I hope I didn't just blow a bubble with my nose because it sure felt like it. All right. I love you guys. Maybe I'll see you live to make Power Bowl components. And if not, well, then I won't. I love you all. I hope you have a great day.